We're live. Welcome to episode 89 of Radio Free Endor. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. And for viewers who are going to be doing a rewatch, we're not here live. Hello from us. My name's Jamie, of course. And with me, as always, is my son, Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Great, thank you. This week's been interesting. There's been a lot of Star Wars buzz around Mandalorian Season 3 that we'll get into. And there's also been a very good game-to-film adaptation. Well, not game-to-film, game-to-TV show adaptation.
Yeah. Do you know, I was thinking about this. Funny you should bring it up, because I was thinking, do you know what? I really want to do like a review of it. You know, do like a separate add-on or something. Because of course we're talking about The Last of Us. I love The Last of Us, and I played the game when it came out on the PS3, and it really pushed the limits of the PS3 because it was right at the end of the lifespan of the PS3, and then I got it when it was remastered for the PS4, and I'm gonna buy it for the PS5 because I just love that game. Number two, no, I'm not too keen on it. I don't. Nah, okay. Number one is perfect, but number two, nah, you forget about that. And you're probably. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll see how it goes. If you want to find out, then just Google it. You'll find out. But um, but the Last of Us, it was more than a game. It was like an experience to me. I remember when I finished it, I was like, God, wow, what a game! It was just such an uphill, downhill, up with emotion and feelings. It was fantastic. I absolutely adore The Last of Us and the music, of course. Which if you're going to be listening to this as a podcast, you probably hear it behind me because I will insert the music behind me. But as we're on YouTube, can't because of copyright strikes. But if you like the music, just Google The Last of Us theme tune, and you'll find it's beautiful music. And now finally they've got it off the ground and made a TV show on HBO. And of course, if you're in the UK, it's being played on Sky Atlantic. It's brilliant. I would say 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? They've changed little bits of it. Didn't matter to me, and it was just great. What did you think of it, Chris? What did you think? Because you've never played the game, have you?
No, I haven't. And I not really had plans to. Not because I didn't like it. It's just I don't own a PS5, I don't own a PlayStation, or I don't own a computer at this point to play it. So it's wasn't on my highest list. But I quite enjoy the thought of watching this TV show about it. And obviously, I'm not attached to any of the characters as I've not played the game. But watching it with a fresh set of eyes has been really good. I thought, the whole setup, the first, half of it was really, really good. And I can't wait to see more seasons of it.
Yeah. I think they're just doing season 1 is all of the first game. Then we'll see where it goes after that. Like I say, if you just Google it. I mean, just Google it. But I have to say, yeah, because if you've watched it, if you've managed to watch it, and I've got the hiccups. Excuse me. If you've watched it, then you see the game starts off where you're with Joel's daughter and the birthday and stuff like that. With his birthday, and it's like late at night, and that's where the game sort of blends you in. But the TV show starts you at the beginning of that day when she wakes up and stuff like this, and then you spend the day with them, which I loved. I just loved. And it's like she goes to the next door, I think to the Coopers, and she sees the old lady. Now, what got me was in the game, it mentions them, but you only see them, a bit later, a bit later on when the infection starts kicking in. But with the TV show, you met them before, and it were really some bits were really creepy. And that, oh man, I was sold. And the only other thing that I've later found out was because my Nikki said, oh, because in the game whenever you find one of the clickers like that's merged, that's sort of dead, it's took over the body, you know, the fungus has took over it, and they're sort of merged in the wall. You do see one in the first episode. Well, there's like a room full of spores everywhere. Wherever you find them, there's spores, and Joel will always put on a gas mask. And Meineke said, "Well, surely if it's a fungi, shouldn't there be no end of spores? Because that's what they do." You know what I mean? But I've later found out that they deliberately not gone down that route because it'd be expensive to do the effects for the spores and putting the gas mask on, taking the gas mask off, and doing his lines and not his lines. Because in the game, when he puts his gas mask on, you sort of rely on your hearing. And if anybody's played a game called Batman Arkham Asylum, where you can sort of do this like bat sense, where you can see the characters like behind walls, do you know what I mean, Chris? Like highlighted through the doors. He does that, you know, he sort of like creeps down and he focuses his hearing and he can sort of make out where enemies are behind walls or coming up towards doors so you can get the jump on them sort of thing. So they're sort of missing that bit out, which is good. You know what I mean? But if you've I don't know, can we spoil the first episode? What do you reckon, Chris? Because we could just do a quick review, can't we? So we're reviewing the Bad Batch, I suppose. Can we? What do you reckon?
I don't know what's a spoiler really.
Yeah. Well, just about the game. There's no end of key scenes in the episode that are just like the game. Now, if you go on if you go on the internet, go onto YouTube and look up heavy spoilers. He does like a breakdown of the episode. It's about half hour, but he will put side by side comparison between the game and the episode and see how they play out. And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant how they've done it. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I totally enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next episode. And Joel, of course, we know him from The Mandalorian. Old Din. He's so good as Joel. I was sold as Joel. You know what I mean? And he's such a pivotal character because he's our way into the story. He's us, if you know what I mean. Into the game, he's us, and yeah, what can I say? It was just great. You know what I mean? Funny enough, Chris, now when you phoned me up the other day and I was in the van at work and we were being driven, I had like four other colleagues with me, and me and you were talking about the game, the TV show, and all my colleagues heard me say was, "Oh yeah, when they chucked that kid on the fire, yeah. Oh yeah, when they shot that guy in the head, yeah. Oh, when they euthanized that kid, and when I put the phone down, they went, "What the bloody hell were you watching last night?" It sounded awful. I went, "Actually, it's really good." It's just terrible things happen at terrible times. You know what I mean? But
For sure.
but you know, what did your partner think of it? What did the lovely Holly think of it?
Holly is not one for horror and suspense thriller. And that first episode did it perfectly. You know, it edged always, or feeling like the bad points now, or now, or now, and you're waiting. But I suspect the TV show will be a lot scarier the further it gets on. You know, seeing one fungi infected grandma is one thing. Seeing what comes next is going to be a big one. And it's just like The Walking Dead, really. It's do not fear the dead, it's fear the living.
Yeah, that's the thing with the what they did that with The Walking Dead, I suppose, but definitely with the Last of Us, fear the living more than the infection, because it's a zombie. Everyone's going, oh, zombie fear. It's an infection. They're not dead. These people ain't dead. It's an infection. A bit like 28 Days Later, because a lot of people go, oh, that's a great zombie movie. It's not a zombie movie. It's not. Well, it acts and it plays out like a zombie movie, but it's not, because the people ain't dead. They're alive. They've got an infection, and do you know what? I kind of like that kind of thing. Now, The funniest fact about it is about The Last of Us is that the how it all came about was Neil Druckmann watched a documentary that David Attenborough was talking about this fungi on, I think it was like Planet Earth or something, and he was watching it, and David Attenborough said something on the lines. If I could find the quote, I'll find it. He says, "If this fungi could jump from insects to humans, we'll all be dead within a year." I mean, all of us. And he was like, "Do you know what? That'll make a good story." And he's damn right. It did make a very good story. Kind of scary though. What's in nature?
Very scary. Very,
Mm,
very scary. But it's a great concept for a TV show. And it's not a zombie virus, it's a fungal infection. And that's how you got to make it unique. But obviously, TV shows are one thing. We're here to talk about our favorite obsession, um, Star
mm.
Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Are you a bit low?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I was slouching.
Oh, well, yeah, you're doing a bit of slouching. Yeah. So yeah, that's The Last of Us. I think what we'll do, Chris, as the episodes go on, we'll do like a mini review as they go on, because I won't mind
Yeah,
that,
of course.
because there's definitely one show that I really want to talk about when it comes back, and that's Foundation. I don't know if anybody out there has seen Foundation. Chris turned me onto it on Apple, and I was totally invested with that as well. And they've just released their trailer for season 2, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all in on that one as well. Yeah, I mean, so I can't wait for that to come back. Foundation is that. So yeah, what we'll do is if we've got time on the episodes, we'll definitely cover those two shows on this one. Why not? Why not?
We probably won't have time with the amount of Star Wars that's going out.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Well, so let's head over to some news. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Cool. Now, now I'm going to go straight over to Fanta Tracks on this one, because John Williams, the famous composer, of course, you all know his his classic scores of Star Wars, E.T., Jurassic Park, Schindler's List. The list, just Raiders of the Lost Ark, just goes on and on and on. Well, he's in his 90s, and he's just completed Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and he said he was going to retire. But he's just said that he's not. He's not going to retire. He's going to do a couple more, which is great news, because the world would be a sadder place without John Williams. And if you'd never had John Williams, then most of the theme parks you go to in the States wouldn't sound right, would they, Chris? Because it isn't it. If you go around Universal, what do you hear? Harry Potter music. And if you go around Disney, what do you hear? Star Wars music all the time. I mean, and it's just one of those things. He's just such a prolific, fantastic maestro in his in his. So I'm lucky to, we're lucky to be alive and have him in our lifetime producing such quality music. You know what I mean? That's going to live on and on and on for decades and decades and decades, unless, of course, the fungi take over and we're all dead. But until then, wow! So it's really good news that he's going to stick around. Especially if I was Steven Spielberg, I'd say, right, he's 90. How many films can we get out in the next 3 years? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think it's an interesting one because composers are one thing, and a film is not the same without its
Mm,
music, and so is Star Wars. So is TV shows. Um, John Williams has given a lifetime of
mm.
excellence, and we'll see how many films he produces.
Yeah,
Well, not produces, scores
scores.
from the
Mm,
here on out, and um, I suspect most of his scoring now will be more ceremonious, of like a new X from Y theme, like, a
mm,
new
mm.
Star Wars theme from Star Wars,
Yeah.
not necessarily creating a whole core, universe of music like Harry Potter or Star
Mm.
Wars or
Yeah,
Indiana
possibly.
Jones,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think it'll be like do you know when they did Solo?
Hmm.
Even he did the theme tune, didn't he? He done Solo's theme tune, and then of course they built
Yeah.
up from that. So I reckon it'd be something like that. So I'm just reading here that it says from last Thursday, celebrating the 50-year calibration between Steven Spielberg and John Williams, the maestro made it clear that he has no intention in putting down or passing the baton. He says Steven is a lot of things. He's a director, he's a producer, he's a studio head, he's a writer, and he's a performance. Yeah, I can never say that word. He's an educator. One thing he isn't is a man that can say no to. So I've got 10 more years to go. I'll stick around for a while. Also, you can't retire from music. It's like breathing. It's your life. It's my life. A day without music is a mistake. So he's got 10 more years there, Chris. So it'll be 100 when he retires. Let's hope so. Because he's just completed, of course, Indiana Jones, but he's also done The Feeblemans music, which is like a semi-biography of Steven Spielberg. I've not heard it. I've not heard his music for that. I have to.
I
I've
feel
not heard
like,
his music for that.
when you get to his periphery,
Mm.
it's not about the money. It's not obviously um, struggling in his 90s. He's more wanting to play, wanting to carry on. He's probably bored, is the answer. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There could be that, because there's one thing about that I do know. Even in any industry, especially in mine, people who retire get really, really bored. And if you get really, really bored, then you go slowly on the down low to decline. You know what I mean? And I don't want him to. I wish he would stick around forever. His music is fantastic. You know what I mean? But who knows? Who knows? Let's hope for the best for him. Have you got anything? Have you got anything else?
um, the Mandalorian season 3 trailer was dropped.
It was. It absolutely was. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll go straight to that because I have got something else. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's go to the Mandalorian trailer. Yeah. So it dropped. Was it yesterday or today? It was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Technically, it was
And
Monday night in the USA, but it was
mm,
Tuesday morning for us.
was it dropped for a special occasion or
Saturday night football
Saturday Night Football?
or
All right.
Sunday night football, something like
Mm,
that.
yeah. And it dropped, and you told me about it. I watched it, and then I came home and watched it, and I thought, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. And what we'll do is we will watch it now. So if you're watching on YouTube, you won't get no sound, but you'll obviously hear us talk. But if you listen to the podcast version, I will insert the sound so you can hear it on the podcast because it'd be pretty boring if you didn't. So yeah. So let me try and stick this on. Share screen. Mandalorian. Mute. Allow. Right, here we go. Shall we go? Oh, I've got to turn off me banners as well. Du- 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 du. There we go. Are you ready, Chris?
Ready when you are.
Right. I'll put the closed captions on as well, so we can read it. Okay.
100%.
Mandalorians. Do you know in his fighter, it must be cold in that bubble.
Well, it's a sci-fi TV show.
Mm,
Fantasy says, probably warm enough to live.
yeah.
But yeah, probably cold. Probably got a little bit of a radiator in
So he
there.
definitely goes back to see the armor again.
Yeah, for sure. We have Mandalore. We have Mos Espa, where
Mm.
Boba Fett is. Yeah.
That's got to be a flashback with those Jedi's.
Of course, to how and who saved Grogu.
Mm. Keep thinking they're called Babadooks. Oof. I love this. This is how the words come along. It's great.
Mm.
Absolutely fantastic. Right. Just want to. I just want to go back to now. So the trailer is fantastic. The trailer is so good, so good. But I just want to nip to some scenes here. These Mandalorians here. Do you reckon these are like a new clan, or there's a badge there? See it? That looks like a Rancor's head. See it?
It could be the previous clan from the city where
Mm.
they left. What's the city called?
From the
The outpost.
the outpost, yeah, on that planet. That's the planet. I'm struggling with the names now. You know where Cole Withers is the
That planet.
yeah. Well, what is that planet called? Come on, Chris. Go fast.
Well, I'm tired today, so it would be.
What do you reckon? What's it called?
No, it's not called Morak. It's not Morak. It's
I think it's something like that. But if you notice though, as this the scenes play out, you see now look how the city has changed, how it's all been painted, and it's
and
all
it's
white now.
prospered.
It's proper prospered. Because if you look, there's a scene here. That's the bar. Where he shakes hands with the governor, Carl Withers. If you look behind him, that's the bar that got blown up. If you remember, and look at the feet on that statue that's on top of a helmet.
That's
The
IG.
stormtrooper. It's not IG-88. It's not IG-88. It's IG Taika Waititi, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's him. It's a statue of him, which is fantastic. But look, even the streets are all cobbled still. You know what I mean? Really well done. Yeah, I mean, so that city has prospered under the leadership. No Cara Dune. Wonder what's happened to her. I wonder how they're going to explain her off. And then, of course, he goes over to the armory again, the armorer, and to explain that he's going to go to Mandalore. So now we get a shot of the dome, the Mandalore dome. Now, was it in episode 6 of the book of Boba Fett, where it was literally a Mandalorian 2.5, wasn't it, episode, where the armorer explains to him about the Night of 1,000 Tears, and you see the dome explode. This is that dome, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's Navarro was the
Navarro,
city.
that's it.
Yeah. And yeah, this is the capital of Mandalore, and you see it in the Clone Wars of the Siege of Mandalore, with Darth Maul and Ahsoka. And basically the Night of Many Tears,
Night of 1,000 Tears, yeah.
Yeah, is when basically it gets
blown.
Orbital bombarded by the Empire and obviously destroyed as a capital city. Pretty Terminator style, if you remember it.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had those TKs. Was it the TKs that were running around shooting people like they were? If you look at that image that we've got on screen, you can still see it's still burning. You know, the surroundings of it, still smoke coming off the ruins, which is so good. It looks so good. Now, there's a shot of R5D4 with his head popping up. So, and if you look, he's in the N-19 starfighter. He's actually in that. He's in the Mandalorian ship. So they've took the ball, the ball where Grogu sits, so it can actually fit an astrometric droid, and R5D4 is in it. How cool is that? So where's Grogu?
He's in the cockpit
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he's in the cockpit. Of
with
course.
with Din.
Yeah. It's nice to see Pello there. Yeah, he is, and he flies through some fireworks, and he presses the warp speed button. Yeah, fantastic. Of course, we get Coruscant, another shot of Coruscant, which looks like it's prospered still.
It could
And
not be Coruscant. It could be the capital of the New Republic.
excuse me.
The capital of the New Republic is it got blew up in episode
Oh,
7.
yeah. I couldn't tell you what. Is it something Prime?
Osnian Prime.
That's it, Ossian Prime. Yeah, it could be that. But isn't that scientist sitting in that
Exactly.
taxi from
It's
season 1?
yes, exactly. Wearing a New Republic uniform.
Ah.
So yes, he could either be on Hosnian Prime or Coruscant.
Yeah. So I take it then he's been forgiven for his past crimes, you could say.
Probably.
Bit like Operation Paperclip. Look it up, folks. Look it up. and that shot there of that commander. I just look at his badge. It looks like he's got a Wookiee face on his badge.
It's a Rancor patch.
It is, yeah. It is a Rancor. Isn't that weird? It looks like it reminds me of a Canadian Mountie badge. You know what I mean? With it on. I'm sure he's Canadian himself, but that's weird, isn't it? It's got a badge there with a Rancor on. So he's in there, and of course he's telling Din about some bits and bobs. Now, this shot here, where Din's gone, I reckon he's in the tunnels underneath Mandalore, and he's picking up the helmets because of so many that died. This is all Beskar, Beskar. This could all be melted down for new armor, couldn't it? That he finds, and of course, then we get another flashback of what it looks like a flashback to me of Jedi, perhaps defending the Jedi Temple. Would you say? And it probably it's going to show you more about how Grogu got smuggled away, you could say. But it looks like the actual door to the Jedi Temple is being cut down. Now you've got 4 Jedi there. 2 are green, 2 are blue lightsabers. I wonder if we're going to see more of who these Jedis are, so we can, are they been referencing something else that we can go, oh yeah, that's that Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it was obvious Qui-Gon Jinn that smuggled him out.
You reckon?
No, of
The
course
living
not.
force, my young Padawan. Now, this ship here, I thought this is the ship that that you love. Where that that ship with the wings that flip round.
Yeah, the Mandalorian, the N. It's not the N1. It's N1's his current one. I believe it's just the Mandalorian starfighter. But yeah,
It's so fast. The shot is so fast. It's really hard to get it. It's so fast. Do you reckon this could be a replacement for his starfighter?
no. I think this is probably someone else. I definitely think this is someone else.
Yeah, could be. And then it looks like what am I doing there? Oh yeah. Oh. And then it looks like he's in a bar. Ooh, with a droid. This droid reminds me of Daft Punk.
Have you noticed the bar's full of droids? It's a droid only bar.
Yeah, it's a charging station.
And it says there's B2. There you go. There's
Right.
there's droids from well, the Clone Wars.
Yeah, you got
So
the battle droids. They
battle
just go
droids.
around calling each other Roger. Hey, Roger, 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 Roger. It's so funny to see them. I'm glad they're in. I hope to God they're voiced by the same guy who does the voices in them in the Bad Batch and the Clone Wars. It's probably um, uh, D Baker, is it? Who
Probably
does
D
his voice?
Baker.
Yeah, it's
Probably.
probably him doing them. Now,
But it's funny because uh, in episode 4, you know, this isn't a bar for droids. Get out here.
yeah,
Well,
we
this
don't
is a
serve
bar.
your kind here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
that
a
one.
bar for droids,
Yeah,
and
we
Din
don't
is
serve. It'd be like, we don't serve your kind here. On this one, I bet you they come out with that line. Wouldn't it be good? It will play Mandalorian bingo. If they come out of the line, we go, yeah, nailed it. Now these droids are interesting because so at the back you got 3 battle droids, but you got one that's right, sort of whitish, looking at the back. Now he looks like one of the droids that was in the Sandcrawler in, is it the Sandcrawler or was it in Jabba's palace that gets sort of like he's in bits? But that's what he looks like. This one in front of it that's got like the 2 white eyes and the little slit. That looks so familiar, like a concept, an early concept picture. But behind him there is it looks like a female sort of looking droid. Yeah, right
Mhm.
behind him. It I can't make up my mind which one looks like the original concept of C3PO. Oh,
I
I
don't
should
know.
be able to check.
I don't know.
I'll put them on my shelf. Oh, they're up there on my shelf. Yeah. One of them, I'm sure it's that one. Or is it that one that looks like a very early Ralph McCorin drawing of one of the droids? But of course, you got some R2 units as well running around. I bet they got names. And then we got a
100%.
fantastic shot again of some Mandalorians being dropped out of a carrier of some kind into a city. Don't know which one it is. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Look at the statue. Look at the statue. The bits in the
Yep.
statue.
It's Navarro.
It's Navarro, yeah. So something happens there, and it breaks down, and that's the statue area. So bad things are heading that way for the governor, for Cole Withers' character. What's his name? Got him on my wall. No, I've not put his figure up. I can't think what his name is. It escapes me. Oh yeah. It's definitely on the streets of Navarro. And you got the shots of what are those two? What are they called from the Force from the Rise of Skywalker? Are they called Boba?
Frink.
That's it, Boba Freak. But you got 2 of these. Sounds just like them. It says if you look at it says Anzalian. Anzalian? What's that?
Yeah. So
Anzalians. That's their
so
species.
Babu Frink. Yeah, they're Azalians.
Oh, that's kind of handy. And he goes, yeah. And of course, then you've got Grogu in his brand new little floating pod, and he gets threatened and he chucks out using the Force. So he's getting stronger with the Force, and he's not passing out. And then we cut to the titles: The Mandalorian, season 3, March the 1st. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
really the logo's really cool. How it's now got Grogu on the floor.
Yes, yeah, there is.
Um,
Yeah, it is. And Disney have just released a poster as well for it, haven't they? So if I click off this and go on to Fanta news, go on to news. I'm sure I've seen it here. I could have sworn I did. Mandalorian official poster revealed. There we go. So this is the poster for the Mandalorian. There we go. Now, I'm going to take a stab at this, Chris. I reckon now when we go down to Star Wars Celebrations, you will be able to buy this poster. You will probably be able to buy this poster on a T-shirt. You know what I mean? What do you
On a
reckon?
T-shirt, you say?
Yeah, like a print on a T-shirt or something.
Yes, probably.
It's pretty damn cool, though. It's a great poster. I wonder who did it. Yeah. So yeah, so that's that. So that's the trailer for The Mandalorian. Yeah. What do you reckon? What are your views on it, Chris?
Well, I'm very excited to give it a watch. I think that it's good fun Star Wars. It takes the funness of Star Wars and gives it some pizzazz. Obviously, things like Bad Batch are the whimsical side of Star Wars, or is the serious side, when Mandalorian's a nice mix in the middle.
Everyone's waiting for The Mandalorian. In fact, only the other day, I actually went back into the Book of Boba, but started it with The Mandalorian. You know, with the episode where you see the Mandalorian getting his bounty, because I just like that episode. And of course, he builds his N1 fighter as well in that. So I like that. I do like that episode. But yeah, so that was it. The other bits of news was that I looked at was that Han Solo, Harrison Ford, is in a brand new Apple series, which I didn't know, called Shrinking. Did you know about this?
No, I didn't.
No. Well, because Harrison Ford in a TV show. What? What's all that about? Not only does 2023 see Harrison Ford starring Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and reunited with Mosquito co-star Helen Mirren in 1923 1923 on Paramount Plus. Oh, that's like a prequel, isn't it? That's a prequel to a series that's on Paramount Plus. He's also about to star in Shrinking on Apple Plus alongside Jason Segel. Not bad for a man who's just breezed past his 80s and shows absolutely no sign of slowing down. So I've never even heard of it, so I'm not too I don't know what it's about. To tell the truth, but it's nice to see that he's in the TV show. I might have to watch that. And Paramount, it's on Apple. It's on Apple Plus. So that's another one to watch on Apple.
Who do you think he's only 10 years younger than John Williams?
I know. Shockingly, isn't it? And he looks great, to be fair. He looks great for his age. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I can't wait.
Even if he didn't look great, Disney's got a few computers up their sleeve.
Yeah. Oh man, do you know the only other day I watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and what a guy! You know what I mean? What a guy! The look of him, his physique for that film. Ugh, you know what I mean? Such a good movie. I love that movie. Oh, go on.
Here's a question: do you think there will be an Indiana Jones panel at Star Wars Celebration?
Oh, that's a good point. I'd say yes, maybe. I think, because at the end of the day, it's Lucasfilm, isn't it? Would it?
It's
I'm
the
not too sure.
closest. It's the closest entity to the release date. So who will know what we'll see at Star Wars Celebration?
Yeah, there was just something I'm just looking for. Here it is. It's on my Facebook page. Let me show you. This is somebody posted this. Now I don't know who the artist is, but I have to say I like the look of it. Boom. There we go. Look at this. Look at that. Right. The Tales of Short Round. What do you reckon?
Maybe. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
Okay, so you've seen the film that he's in.
Yes. And he's just won the is it the Golden Globe for it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he's just won the Golden Globe, and somebody said, would you be in another Indiana Jones film or a spin-off? And he said, absolutely, I will drop everything for it right now. And I'm so glad that this guy, what's his name? What's it called? I can't think what his name is now. He's been in Goonies, Indiana Jones, of course. That's basically it. And of course, he's in Everything All at Once.
Ki Hung Kwan.
That's him. He's been sort of forgotten by, the Hollywood people, you know what I mean, for such a long time. And I think he had to take acting lessons again to be in Everything All at Once. But he's done really well. And when you see him in that film, he is phenomenal in that film. Phenomenal. So I'm hoping that Disney do something like that. And he looks a bit like a young James, young Jackie, the martial arts expert, Jackie Chan. It looks like a young Jackie Chan. Yeah, I'm up for that. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, that's all the news I've got.
Good.
So that is the end of the news section. How's that? Unless there's something else. What did you get anything?
Wow, no. But
Nope.
what are we here for?
The Bad Batch. Should we head over to the Bad Batch report?
Of course.
Okay, let's head over to the Bad Batch report. Right, so now we are covering another 2 episodes. We've decided to do 2 and 2 and 2 as we go along because Christopher is heading over to San Francisco on Friday or Saturday. So he's going to be away for a week. So when he comes back, we can have another episode. So we can do another batch of 2. That's one of the reasons why we're doing 2, 2, 2.
It's I'm only out there for a week, so Saturday to Saturday. But wow, I'll definitely miss 2 episodes. I'll miss 1 episode of The Last of Us. So I'll be watching that back to back, and Star Wars as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do episode 3 and episode 4 of the Bad Batch. Episode 3 is called The Solitary Clone. Now, this was aired on January the 11th, 2023. Now, I'll just read the synopsis of it. Crosshair is assigned to Commander Cody on a mission to the former separatist planet of D6. D6? To rescue Imperial Governor Groton, who has been captured and taken hostage. After a successful assault, they encounter D6's governor, Twan. These Star Wars names are so odd. Twani Amis, who demands that D6 remains out of Imperial jurisdiction. Yeah, I've got to get my teeth fixed. Citing the Republic's referral to broker peace with the Separatists during the Clone Wars as reasoning. Otherwise, they want to stay out of the Imperials and stay out of the war. Cody argues for a peaceful resolution, but Crosshair kills the governor and on Groton's orders, and D6 is brought under Imperial control. Returning to Coruscant, Cody questions whether the Empire is really doing good around the galaxy and deserts soon after. Wow. Another great episode, I thought. This one does not feature, well, it does not feature the main ensemble of the Bad Batch. This just really sort of focuses on Crosshairs. Now, what I liked about this one, Chris, is that when it starts off, Crosshairs is like a proper loner. Nobody wants to spend any time with him. He's got no mates, no friends, no family. And even when he gets his food and he goes to sit on a table with other clones, yeah, they just get up and go, don't they? They don't sit with him. They get up and go. And he starts tucking in. And, of course, he gets the beep boop. Go, can you report to Admiral Ranson? Is it Ranson? Yeah. Rampart. No, it's Rampart. So he goes off to meet him, and he thinks he's going to be in control of another squad. And Rampart says, "Nah, mate, Not putting you in that position again. What did you reckon with that? What did you reckon how Crosshairs is? And we also find out that how long Crosshairs was on that platform for.
Do we?
Yeah, he says, "How long?" He goes, "How long were you on that platform for until you got rescued?" And he says, "32 rotations." Is that like 32 days?
Well, that must be.
Oh,
32 rotations would be a long time to survive on salt water for.
yeah. And just like, what's he going to do? Fish? Well, he's got his. Didn't he have his gun so he could?
It probably
So he
shoot.
could shoot some fish. And he had a lot of raw fish. Oh, that's probably why nobody wanted to sit with him. They go, "Oh God, it smells like the penguin." Yeah. So and he goes, he just question him, doesn't he? He says something on the lines of like, "Oh, why did you come back when you had a chance to go?" And he goes, "Because he believes in the Empire, doesn't he? He believes what they're doing is a good thing." So he gets assigned to this mission with Commander Cody. Now, remember Commander Cody? He was in the prequel series, and he was under Obi-Wan's commandship, wasn't he? Obi-Wan Kenobi's
Yeah,
command.
he was Obi-Wan's squad commander,
Leader, yeah.
So you had the 501st, so that was obviously Rex and Anakin, and then
Mm.
you had Cody. Do you remember the number off the top of your head?
What, Cody's?
Yeah.
No.
Was it the
It's not 1138, was it?
No.
No.
What was Anakin's?
What, Anakin's code?
Yeah, what was Anakin's attack battalion?
Oh, was it?
Go.
Oh man, this is true. It's not Vader's. Well, that's Vader's first. The 501.
Yes. Anakin's was 501
Yeah,
attack battalion, and with the commander of Rex,
yeah.
and Obi-Wan was 212 with
212.
Cody. Yeah.
Ah, right. Where did you pick that up from?
Wow. Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Good old Wikipedia. Oh yeah, there is. I must admit, it's highlighted, so you could click on his name. Yeah. Now, now you do hear, the clones are talking about was it conscription stormtroopers coming in,
Yeah.
wasn't it? They did,
Obviously,
and
because
they
the clones think they're better. That
mm,
they've been bred for this. That this is their job, and it's also why why Crosshair believes in the Empire, because they want him to be a soldier. If he wasn't in the Empire, he wouldn't be a
mm,
soldier, and he
mm,
has nothing else to live for. He's a soldier,
yeah.
and he even says that to Rex, not Rex, Cody.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but there's also that thing. I think I can't remember it now, but didn't Rampart say to him that it's kind of strange that so many clones are disappearing,
Yeah.
just deserting. Mm. Now I took that because the way he's saying it, is he killing them, or are they generally just deserting?
Well, no, he genuinely is. The last episode, episode 2, he's like, "Oh, you saw these? No, I'm not faking my report. Off the bridge you go." So obviously, Rampart is the evil character in this TV show. He believes clones are less human and less, um, of their own ability. And
Mm,
it's quite interesting when the clones talk about, why are they better than droids? Because they think, they don't just follow orders.
mm,
When you have um Crosshair right now, just following orders, not really thinking, doesn't question it. But he
mm.
also had his inhibitor chip set to like 200, so
Yeah, he did,
that
didn't
may
it?
be
Yeah,
why.
they. Yeah. If you remember in that first season, they kept sticking him in that machine, didn't they? To
Hmm.
keep ramping it up. Yeah. Yeah. And as far as we're aware, didn't he? Because didn't he have something happen to? Because he's got that scarring on the side of his head, didn't he? I thought that might have cured his chip.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Mm.
It broke his chip. That's when he got burnt by the
Mm.
Star Destroyer engine.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah.
he kind of
That,
fell on himself.
yeah, that sort of like started up. Yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah. So what gets me is he also he meets Cody at the memorial. Now, when they go down to the memorial, it's got all the names in Arabic of all the fallen clones. And I was thinking, does that just say clone number 1, clone number 2, clone number 3, clone number 4? Do you know what I mean? Or have they actually
Mm,
got names? You know what I mean? Because I know the commanders had names, but most of the clones just had numbers, didn't they? But they had individual names, but they were more like Wrecker, Hunter, Crosshairs. They had Echo. They had sort of like a nickname, didn't they, for each one?
mm.
And now, I might be wrong on this, Chris, but that plaza that's there, isn't that the same plaza where Ahsoka said goodbye to Anakin? When she left the Jedi Order.
Yeah, well, this was what I was like. I thought the building that was shown was the Jedi Temple,
Mm,
but converted,
hmm.
and that would make sense of why that looks so familiar because they put the memorial in front of the Jedi Temple.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I saw that building. I thought it was the Jedi Temple, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's what I thought. It's exactly what I thought. I'm gonna go to the tape on this one, because I've got it. Stars Bad Batch. No, I've not. I thought I managed to get a copy of it. No, I've only got. No, it's downstairs. It's on my other memory card. Yeah. Hold on, I thought I did. Might be wrong. Hold on. Oh, let me just. It's Bad Batch 3. Star Trek. No, I've not. I've got episode 4, but I've not got the other 3. I thought I could have sworn I downloaded them. Never mind. Yeah, you might be right, but that plaza really did look familiar. I thought to myself, I'm sure that's where Ahsoka left. And do you know that one where she was sneaking around? What
Mm.
episode was that? You know what I mean? And I'm sure she ran past that memorial on that episode as well. I think it was a bit further on, wasn't it? I can't. It's been such a long time since I've seen the Clone Wars. It might have been in the final of the Clone Wars. The
Mm.
season final. I can't remember. But yeah, it was interesting. And Cody sort of says right there and then, you can get the sense of what Cody's sort of view of the Empire in his part that he's playing in it is not what he thought it was going to be. But do you think he had the same, the same this, mission what Rampart gave to Crosshairs about saying that do what you needs to be done. Know what I mean? Because it weren't going to be a peaceful situation. Just go down there, get the governor, and eliminate the governor. Go and get their governor, their standing governor, but eliminate the other governor. Do you think Cody was all up for that as well? Do you think that's the same order that he got? I don't think it was. I don't think there was at any time did Cody get the order that once he's there, he's got to get rid of
Mm.
the proper governor. I don't think he had that. What do you reckon?
I don't know. This episode was really good. It felt like it's the Clone Wars episode,
Mm.
because there's always a Clone Wars episode
Yeah,
in
yeah.
these TV shows, and yeah, I did feel like he probably was sent on the same mission, not different to um
The orders. I mean, the orders.
yeah, the
What
orders. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rampart.
Because a good soldier follows orders, a good soldier
Mm,
follows orders. So he would have been sent on the same mission, but
mm,
his humility got the better of him. He said, "What are we fighting for?" In essence,
mm.
we're fighting. We thought we was fighting for the Republic to get peace, but now we're doing what the Republic was against. You
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, absolutely. But when they get to the planet, of course, it's overrun by droidicas. All the droidicas, the droidicas. I loved to see the sound of droidicas. You know the rolling ones for episode one, and they go, "Boop, boop, 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 boop." That sound. I love that sound. That when they were rolling, you hear like a chain being rolled, and then they and they. I love
Mm.
that. But they always sounded really deadly to me because I was thinking, how can you like defend
Well, they
yourself
are
from them?
deadly. They
They,
are.
I think they're more deadlier than the
B1s or the
the
B2s.
clankers. Yeah,
Yeah, the
the
droidicas are far much more deadly because they have a
mm,
shield, you know,
yeah.
and there's so many times, even in the Clone Wars, when they're like, "Oh, droidicas can't go frontal, need to roll a grenade or something."
Yes, yes. Yeah, and you did have. It was weird because didn't Crosshair chuck a grenade onto one of the droids, and he just
And it
slowly
fell onto
slid
the
in. It
yeah,
slid into it, blew it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That whole thing was really good. How they used their strategy, their going in, stop it. You know, what I mean, it was so
yeah.
planned out like a proper army
Yeah,
going
I
in.
I have to I have to, put my whimsical beliefs aside
Mm,
about Star Wars because nobody would ever be as good as Crosshair. First,
mm.
okay, shooting down a barrel of a tank, okay, fine. But chucking a mirror in the air and shooting, I'm sorry, that was a bit too fancy for me.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, there was a scene there where they finally got into the capital and up to the tower, and they're working around these, like, if you ever seen a medieval tower going up to the very tower, you got these tight stairs that go round and round and round, spiral stairs, and they were chucking mirrors on the wall, weren't they? So he could go doo, doo, and shoot the
Mhm.
droids around the corner. And when they got to the top, uh, Cody just chucked one, didn't he, into the air, and Crosshair went boom, and he shot the mirror, and it went straight through. And didn't it take out like two droids and the master
Mhm.
droid?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, yeah, oh, and I was like, whoa, that was good. How does that guy ever miss? And if you watch the previous episodes where he's after the Bad Batch, he missed quite a few times. You think, hold on, what's good this guy? And anyway, so they get into there and they find the governor, what's her name? Uh Tarwin,
Mhm.
Armies. Yeah. She's got Imperial Governor Groton, who's a scumbag, basically. He is a scum. I would have shot him right there and then. He is a scumbag. And she says that she wants peace. You know what I mean? She doesn't want the Imperials in her city. And all this is all because of the Imperials, what's happening right now. And um Cody actually goes, there is a way around this. There's a way that we can come to a peaceful terms, and we'll make sure that the transition is more peaceful. And he probably thought that, okay, yeah, it's going to be under Imperial control, but she can still stay the governor to help sort of like bring everybody in line to it, because it's like a mining colony, isn't it? You
Mm,
get the feeling it's
for
like a
sure.
mining colony. And so as he puts his gun down, Crosshair just shoots her in the head, doesn't he? Just kills
He
her.
does. Literally. And and this is a really interesting aspect of this episode because, Cody's like, peace is always the first option,
Mm,
Don't just shoot them, that's what makes us different. And he's trying to say, like, he understands that, what they're doing is being the separatists in this situation. They're trying to take land, not defend it.
mm,
And yeah, this was the reason Cody left, abandoned everything,
mm,
was because it was like, that's gone too far. My inhibitor chip is weared off enough where I know what is right and wrong,
mm,
and he's left. And this is what we're seeing more and more is that the clones either leave, get murdered,
mm.
or 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 just I guess stay
Desert.
long enough, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Wouldn't it
stay.
been weird? Wouldn't it been really strange? Do you remember that episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi where he comes across uh that clone that old clone that's begging. I think he was in, wasn't he in the 501st? Because he's got the blue armor and that. Wouldn't it have been weird if that was Coda? That would have
Well,
been really good.
you never
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But you know, we're yet to see Rex in this,
Mm,
and I wonder if we'll see Rex and Cody together later
mm.
on.
I'll tell you what, I think they will go down the lines of Rex helping Cody get rid of his chip. You know what I mean? And then him realizing what he did was a terrible thing,
Wrong.
basically.
Mm.
Yeah, it was the wrong thing. So
Yeah.
and of course then when they report back, Rampart tells Crosshairs that Cody's disappeared, like so many others. You know what I mean? And and then doesn't he come out with a line? A soldier will always, a good soldier, takes orders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that episode.
A very
In
good one.
all, it was
Yeah,
a
really
very
good
good
one
one.
for
It was a
for
good.
for Clone Wars episode. It
Mm,
was great. I really liked it. It was probably, you know, one of you know, it wasn't. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was a very good episode of this season.
mm,
Gritty enough, if you understand the higher points, that the governor, didn't really care, the real governor, wanted to keep their planet, didn't really care, but the governor imposed by the Imperials, he saw it as, this is my chance to rule a kingdom almost,
mm.
this is
Yeah.
now my kingdom. Go, you know, dispose of her body on the streets so they all can see,
Yes. Yeah.
um,
And the Imperials are famous for hanging people from the streets. They will hang them. You know what I mean? We all know about them. Yeah, really good episode. Like I say, like you said, it's the Clone Wars episode, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it from start to finish. Didn't let me down. So then we go on to the next one, which is episode 4, Faster, and that was aired on January the 18th, 2023. I shall whip the synopsis of it. While Hunter and Echo are away on another assignment, it's quite funny what they're on the assignment for. Sid takes Amiga, Tech, and Wrecker to a riot race on Sofa Tome. Another one. To visit her cocky droid racer Trio. Right?
mm,
Sid is challenged by Mylig, one of her business rivals, and his racer Jet Venom. And during the next round of Mill, I'll call him Mill. Yeah, Mill orders Venom to cheat, causing Teo to lose. Why Mill comes to collect, Amiga challenges him to another race for Sid's freedom, but just before the events, Teo is wrecked in an accident. Tech takes Teo's place as Sid's pilot, and using his calculative intelligence to offset his lack of experience, he wins the race. Mill honors his part of the deal, but warns the clones that one day Sid might turn against them. A lot of names there. Great episode. This is quite a fun one. This is now. This episode starts off where they're in Sid's bar, and she complains about the electric, which is kind of weird because it's like she must be getting the same bills that we're all getting. The electricity is getting expensive, and Tech is in the back, and he's actually playing online Sabacc. If you look, right, and Amiga and Wrecker are playing the monster chess game, from Star Wars, which is always good to see. And they're playing for that for the. It looks like popcorn to me. I can't remember what it's called in the episode, but she wins, and he's like, ugh, another one, another game. You know what I mean? But she wins, and then of course Sid comes and says she's got a mission for him, and but what got me was Hunter and Echo are out delivering Nerf nuggets. Nerf nuggets.
Food, basically.
Is it like chicken nuggets made out of Nerf from the Nerf herders?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm intrigued to see them. I hope at Star Wars Celebrations, instead of going like, "Can I have Nerf nuggets and chips, please?" Yeah, that'd be so funny, wouldn't it? Nerf nuggets and chips with gravy. Oh yeah, go on then. And I'll have a side part of some blue milk, please. Yeah. So so yeah, so you got this bar scene, and of course they go to this place, Sofa Toma. Now it's the pod race. It's totally the pod race from episode 1, which I love. I just love that thing. It even had the same style in announcer, and but the pods, instead of the pod race with the 2 engines in the cab, they are like these little like pods, just like little round
Hmm.
pods that are speeding around each other. And didn't Tech actually say that these pods weren't designed for this kind of thing? They're more of like a maintenance thing, but they've been modded to do to race, to go beyond what their capacity is.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it myself what it was, but it was like, did I say it was like riot pods or something?
Riot pods, that's what they call them. Yeah, riot pods. It's riot race, riot pods. So that's why they got the guns. Perhaps they're to do with stop rioting, anti-riot pods or whatever. You know,
I
like
don't know.
police. I don't know. Quite cool though. And of course they watch her. She's got this droid called Teo, and she says he was the fastest droid. You know, he can play, and he's right cocky. Now, I'd love this droid. I thought it was great. Hello, human. Right, and I was thinking, his voice sounds familiar. His voice sounds so familiar. And I said to Monica, I went, do you know what? He sounds like the guy who does the voice for Sonic the Hedgehog. And he does. I went and looked at it, and it is. It's the guy who does Sonic the Hedgehog's voice, Ben Schwartz. 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 And he does the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog for Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. And of course, this droid, which is Trio, which is kind of funny because he's a speedster in the Sonic, and he's a speedster in this episode. So it's kind of a cool callback to that. And the way he talks, you know, he's like, yeah, little less chatting, more soldering when it gets repaired. I loved his character. I was thinking, do you know, I'd like to get an action figure of his character. In fact, I'd like to get an action figure of that pod with the action figure in it. It'd be so cool if Hasbro, here we go, something for you to make. You know, build one of these pods. What did you reckon to it? What did you reckon to it? To his character?
Yeah, he was pretty whippy and pretty funny. It was pretty quirky episode. It was a very quirky episode. It was not my favorite, but you know, it was interesting enough to see Vin Diesel and Tekka merge together to become Tech Diesel.
Yeah.
For the family. This is
The
for
family.
the family.
Yeah. Now it's kind of weird now because in the episode, of course, she's Sid is obviously doing some kind of deal, and this guy, what's his name? Is Millage,
Yeah.
Milleg, right? Now he sounded familiar to me as well. I was thinking, who's that? But I've just looked on Wikipedia, and it's Ernie Hudson did his voice. Ernie Hudson, old Winston Zeddemore from Ghostbusters.
You couldn't tell that was a smooth voice. That was quite obvious.
Yeah, smooth. Well, I was thinking it was the guy who was in who does the president's voice in Rick and Morty. I thought it was him because he's usually the go-to guy. But Ernie Hudson, well done, mate. I salute you. I clap you. Well done. You did it fantastic. He's going to be the new Billy D, I reckon, in this. And he played a really good character. Now, this species of him, which it doesn't say here, or let me just look at the top, see if it is a gangster. This no, it doesn't say what species is in, but you do see his species in live action in The Force Awakens in the cantina, in the big cantina.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sitting down, but he's a really big guy. He's got really big feet, really big feet. But in this episode, of course, he tells his other participants in the race to cheat and bust Trio's pod, which they do. They bust it up, and of course, then he comes on and goes, double or nothing. Who was it? You owe me now a lot of money. So basically, Amiga says, "Listen, we'll race again on the next race, double um, if we win, we get Sid back, and if we lose, we'll pay you double." And Wrecker and Tech go, yeah, I mean, I was expecting she don't speak for us, but there you go. He follows through with that deal, and he takes Sid hostage, which at the end of the episode, I couldn't make up my mind if this guy was actually a good guy or a bad guy. I'm not too sure, but Tech, of course, if something happens again to Taylor, once they repair him, it gets wiped out again. And it even comes up on the announcement. Oh, we've had a wipeout. Oh, did you see that bit where they were doing some shooting? The pods were shooting each other, and of course the shots were bouncing off the shields of these pods, and they went straight through the crowd, and the crowd like all look at each other, and they turn around, and there's one that looks down, he's got a bullet hole in him, falls back dead, and the announcer goes, remember for misfiring shots. Is that your camera gone again?
Yeah, it overheats, and that means we've been speaking for too long.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice picture.
I have two webcams on my desk.
I think you might have to use one of your webcams from now on. So yeah. Well, there we go. So a stray shot shoots this guy, which I thought was so funny. He just looked down and noticed he got shot and fell down. So good, so good. And do you know, also, this pod race reminded me of a fantastic PlayStation game that came out a couple of times called Wipeout. And I was expecting the music from Wipeout, which is, if you go on YouTube, go to Fluke and Atom Bomb. There's a video to the first Wipeout game, and it's brilliant. Brilliant. And if you listen to the podcast, I'll probably play the tune behind me right now. But of course, copyright strike on YouTube, you won't hear it now. So it reminded me of the game Wipeout on the PS1, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. Yeah, great. Tech takes over, and he's sort of like ditches his guns and uses his smart maneuvering with thrust, going from one side. He knew the trajectory to get the fastest lines. It worked to his advantage, and of course, he won. He won the race, and everyone's going Tech. You know what I mean? Any sort of like just the old didn't in episode 1, Anakin. You see Anakin Skywalker look around and wave, don't you? It was exactly the same shot. Fantastic. And of course, Ernie Hudson's character turns around and he gives Sid and goes, "We're quits." And but he does say to the Bad Batch, he goes, "You want to watch your backs with her. She's not what you think she is." What do you reckon to that?
She's obviously got a past of nefarious problems, and I think that the more it goes on, the more we will see them problems come to light. Obviously, right now it's still quite high level of the problems, but I think the more time that goes on, the more we'll definitely see them come to light, and how she's betrayed people close to her.
Yeah, I'll agree. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of that episode. So we don't see Hunter nor Echo in this one, nor Crosshairs, of course. But and I thought, to me, I love this episode. I thought it was a great, fun episode.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really good one. Very much similar to that episode in season 1 where they had that sort of like speeder chase. Do you remember through the streets when they were being chased by the bounty hunter?
I do.
Very similar to that. Very similar to that. So yeah, so that's that. So we wrap up then, Chris.
We should.
Yep. And that brings us to the end of the show. Right. What do you reckon then? Now we're at the end.
A good 2 weeks. And we'll see what the next 2 weeks of Star Wars looks like.
Yeah. And remember, there's only is it less than 80 days now to Star Wars celebrations?
Yes. Not long at all.
Yeah, there's more and more gonna be popping up online. Yeah, as we get closer to the date, which I can't wait. I was gonna say to you, Chris, are you gonna be sort of cosplaying, doing anything for Star Wars celebrations?
No, I'll be going as a poor Star Wars fan.
As a podcaster, Star Wars podcaster. Yeah, I might be going as a Mandalorian. Just might. I've got a suit coming with a helmet that's been specially made.
Be pretty cool.
It'll look pretty cool as long as I can fit in it. I'll have to lose some weight, but let's hope so. Anyway, now if you want to look ultra cool, then why don't you head over to TeePublic, where you can get your official Radio Free Endor t-shirts, hoodie, masks, stickers, mugs, keyrings, mouse mats, anything. It's all available at TeePublic. If you're in the UK, send me a message and I can probably point you out to Streetwise, where we can get them printed in the UK for about £14. It's quite cheap. Also, iTunes is the best place to download the show. And while you're there, take some time out to leave us a 5-star review. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, then please smack that like button and hit subscribe to get notifications of our next show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and then Instagram. We are at Radio Free Endor, and our email address is at radiofreeendor@gmail.com, which you can see scrolling along at the bottom of the screen. Now, if you want to message me on Twitter, I am at Jamie_R_Burns. And if you want to find Chris, what's yours?
At Burn Chris.
Cool. And of course, Chris has still got his podcast running for tech. So if you're interested in the world of tech, what's your podcast, Chris?
fsjam.org.
Which is fantastic. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about this week, and I'm looking forward to in 2 weeks' time, where we can get back into the Bad Batch. Chris, you have a fantastic time in San Francisco, and please do not go to Skywalker Ranch unless you're taking your dad with you. Okay.
Maybe one time in the future.
Maybe one time in the future, yeah. So yeah, have a good time. I know it's a business meeting, but you can always have a good time abroad, can't you?
Of course.
So from me, have a fantastic 2 weeks. Fans, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for another 2 episodes of the Bad Batch Report. And thank you for watching and viewing us. Chris?
Thank you. See you all soon. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.